Hey guys, welcome to today's live session by Intellipaat. My name is Ram and I'll be the one covering the live today. So guys, today's topic is top programming languages for data science. So basically we'll be learning all the different languages that are used highly by all the different data scientists in today's world. Alright, so let's quickly get started by looking at the agenda. So our agenda here is basically we'll be going through all the top programming languages used for data science. Then we'll have a conclusion. So I'll talk about which is the best language for you guys to start with, and then finally we'll see the further learning resources you guys can use to learn about the languages that are going to be told over. Alright, so let's get started with all the top programming languages. Alright guys, so these languages are carefully put in an order in which we think that will be most suitable for everyone. Now they'll be ranked from a descending order. That means the 8th rank will be the lowest rank and the first rank will be the best rank. So let's get started with that 8th rank. The language at the 8th rank is SAS. Now SAS is a statistical software suite developed by the SAS Institute for Data Management, Advanced Analytics, Multivariate Analysis, Business Intelligence, Criminal Investigation, and Predictive Analytics. Now it's very similar to another language you guys may have heard of, which we will talk about later, is R. So it's basically used for statistical and data analysis. So it's a very good tool for data scientists. But however, it is not open source, unlike the rest of the languages or a lot of more popular languages that I'll be talking about. Now the developers of SAS language developed their own software suite for all these techniques such as advanced analytics, predictive modeling, and business intelligence, etc. Now even though it is not an open source language, it is a paid software suite that you have to use, and that's why it's very and highly reliable, and it's a very old language also. People have been using SAS for a pretty long time. That means that if you have a person who's very well versed in SAS, then he can create those models that you require in a very well-mannered fashion. But obviously it's a paid software. You need to have some kind of prior experience in it, and I would not recommend this language for beginners. Alright, so let me leave this language off by saying that it does have a wide range of libraries, packages for statistical analysis and machine learning. Alright, so let's move on to our 7th rank. So the language in a 7th rank is MATLAB. Now you guys must have heard of MATLAB. So if you learn maths in college at a college level, then you might have used MATLAB. So MATLAB is a multi-paradigm numerical computing environment. Now, as complex as the name sounds, it's exactly what it does. It's basically a computation environment where you can compute different numerical models, and that's why it can be very helpful when you're going ahead with data science. You need to create a model, and that model depends on some kind of numerical formula, and to create that model you can just go ahead and use the packages and libraries that are available with MATLAB. Now, MATLAB has native support for many different things like sensors, for image, video, telemetry, binary, and other real-time formats. You can use all of these different formats. You can import them and perform your statistical analysis on them. It offers a full set of statistics and machine learning functionality, plus advanced methods such as non-linear optimization, system identification, thousands of pre-built algorithms for image processing. So these are the different kinds of things that you'll be able to do in MATLAB. But the problem with MATLAB is it's very specific. It's very ad hoc. You can only use it for specific purposes. It's not general purpose, and it requires you to have a lot of in-depth knowledge about MATLAB. So if you don't have any prior knowledge with MATLAB, it would be tough for you to get into it and get started with it. But that does not mean it's not good. It is good, but depends on the scenario or the situation you are in. So we'll discuss about the coming languages that are suit better in certain situations. So let's move on to our next rank, that is the 6th rank. Now in the 6th rank we have Julia. So Julia is a high level, high performance dynamic programming language. It is designed for high performance numerical analysis and computations. Now this language is said to be faster than other languages like Python and R because it is designed in such a way that it can quickly implement different mathematical concepts like linear algebra, and it is able to deal with concepts such as matrices much better than any other language. And that's why Julia can be better in certain situations. Now, Julia provides very speedy development, just like your Python or R. But so the disadvantage with Julia is that, even though it's faster or at the same equivalent speed of other languages like Python or R, it's very new. It's relatively new in the scene of, whole coding. It was created recently and it does not have a very big community in which you can talk about problems and share your things. It's not very big. Where if you compare it to Python, which has been here for a very long time, or R, which has been here for a very long time, it has multiple different packages that you can use, and it has not very specific uses. It has general purpose usages also. All right, so that's Julia. It's very fast and gives very high performance, but it's relatively new. That's why we put it at the 6th rank. Now, in the next rank, we have Java. Now, you guys might be very surprised to find Java over here. Now, Java, as we know, is a general purpose programming language that is class-based, object-oriented, and designed to have as few implementation dependencies as possible. So it's one of those very helpful general purpose languages that we make use of in almost every other thing. Now, surprisingly, a lot of data scientists also make use of it. Now, where they make use of it is different. They do not use it for creating applications or desktop applications or apps or creating embedded electronics of sorts. Now, they use its frameworks such as Hadoop. That Hadoop basically runs on the JVM, and Hadoop is basically a processing framework that manages data processing and storage for big data applications running in clustered systems. Now, this allows for storage of massive amounts of data. And that's where Hadoop comes in. It basically helps you manage those large amounts of data. And if you're a data scientist who'll be working with these large amounts of data, then you'll definitely need to know about Hadoop and how to use it. And that's where Java comes in. So Java also has different number of libraries and tools that are used for machine learning and data science. Like you have your DL4J, you have Adams, you have Java ML, you have Neurof, and you have Stanford Core NLP. You have these different, libraries that you can use for your specific machine learning and data science purposes. But it ranks 5th because of its general purposivity. Because, even though it's a very well-known language, it has a very big community. When you want to work in a data science field, you want to work with a language that is very, useful to you, easy to use. Now, Java is a bit difficult to learn and get into. Whereas if you compare it to another language, suppose is Python, which is very easy to learn, you only have to concentrate on the fact that, what model to use. You don't have to concentrate on how you're going to be writing that language. Java becomes, difficult in that aspect. But it is useful in other aspects like using its frameworks like Hadoop, right? So that's why it's on the 5th rank. Now let's move on to the next rank, that is SCALA. Now SCALA is another general purpose language which is used to manage big data in the context of data science. So it is also again a general purpose language, but SCALA has ability to manage big data, especially in the context of data science. Scala is known for being very scalable. If you want to scale your program to be able to handle large amounts of data, then it is specially designed to do so. It can help you manage all the big data that is coming in with the help of tools like Apache Spark. This will allow Scala the ability to perform parallel processing on large scales. Now, there are many popular and high-performance data science frameworks written on top of Hadoop to be used either with Scala or Java. So these both languages or these frameworks, they fall in a similar category. But the difference with Scala is that it has a very good use with Apache Spark, but it has the disadvantage of readability. Now, a language that is useful for a data scientist has to be very readable, because you can write very good code in it, but you need to be able to read that code also. And Scala has that issue, that is very difficult to read code in Scala. Now, but Scala is it is an ideal programming language when it comes to dealing with large amounts of data. So you need to keep in mind about this particular language. That's why it ranks 4th. Now, the next language that ranks third is SQL. Now, all of you guys who already have some kind of knowledge in data science might already know about SQL, because, or even if you don't know about SQL, even if you don't know about data science, you know about SQL, because SQL is used almost everywhere in the industry. In IT industry, it's used almost everywhere. It's used in the industry where you have to store data. It is used almost everywhere, because SQL, as its full form states, is a structured query language. It is used to query the data, or basically manage the data that is stored in databases. Now, its main purpose is to manage data in relational database management systems. However, the storage of data is much different than Hadoop. Now, Hadoop specializes in handling big data, whereas SQL is your normal data. So SQL, as a data scientist, I would recommend you learn SQL very well, because you're going to need SQL anyway. Because SQL, you'll be using SQL to query data, get data out of a database, then analyze that data, then put models on that data. So you need to know SQL. As a data scientist, SQL is a must recommend. Well, it comes third just for the sake of putting a rank over here, because SQL and all the languages above this are a must. All right. So that's SQL. So SQL is basically used for managing your data. Now, SQL tables and SQL queries are very critical for every data scientist to know and to be comfortable with. While SQL is not able to exclusively be used for data science, it is used for every other purpose also. But it is very important for data science. And especially if you want to become a data scientist, learn SQL. All right. Now let's move to the second rank, that is R. Now, R programming language is an open source language in an environment that is used for statistical and data computation. Now, it's not easy to learn R, but most people figured that out, that R is a little bit tougher from, you have your other language, that is Python. But R has other things, like it has multiple different packages that are developed for certain purposes that you will need to use for your particular data model that you need, or your particular problem solving that you need. So for that, R has those specific packages that you can use of. To mention how many packages, it has around 8,000 to 10,000 packages in its open source repository of CRAN, right? And it is able to handle a very complex linear algebra models also. Now, you have packages like Tidyverse and Sparkle YR, which provide Apache Spark interface to R. So you can integrate Apache Spark to R also. Now, you can also integrate MySQL with R using R MySQL. So it has a lot of connectivity with all the different components. So R is very good in that fact. But it is generally better for statistically oriented tasks. It is, if you want to go for something that is more statistically oriented, then I would recommend going with R. Now, but R, that does not mean that R is a bad language to work with. If you're a data scientist, you would generally need to know SQL, R, and then the highest rated language that you guys probably know of. But before we get to that, let's talk about the honorable mentions there. Now, these honorable mentions rank below all of these languages. I just felt like telling you guys about these languages anyway. Now, you have your C, you have C++, C Sharp, you have JavaScript, you have Swift, and you have Ruby. All of these languages perform some kind of, they give you some kind of ability to perform machine learning and use libraries and packages that are available for these languages to perform your daily tasks as a data scientist. But they're not that used. These are used in certain scenarios again. But if you want to use them for the purpose of data analytics, you can use them, but they have better use in other scenarios. But again, you can still do it. So that's why they come under honorable mentions. But we finally have our highest ranked language, that is Python. And I know all of you were waiting for it. Python is a general purpose open source programming language with high versatility. You can use it for so many different things. You can develop apps with it. You can work and create models in it. So many different things you can do with Python. And Python is very easy to learn. So all of you out there who are just watching this video wanting to become data scientists, I definitely recommend you guys to learn Python, right? Because Python is easy to use, it has a very gentle learning curve, and it has very useful libraries. The code readability. Now the code readability is very important as a data scientist. You need to be able to read your code so that you don't make any mistakes in that code and you can understand that code easily. You don't want to concentrate on the code part. You want to concentrate on the part where you are basically analyzing the data that is coming in and getting insights out of that data. That is the more important part. So that's where the code readability should be easy, and that's where having a language which is easy to learn lets you concentrate and tackle all the other complex problems, like solving data science problems that involve data processing, data analysis, visualization, predictions, and data preservation. So to handle all of these different problems, you have modules in Python like pandas, numpy, matplotlib, scipy, and scikit-learn. You have all these different modules that help you in basically performing all the process methods and processes such as data pre-processing and then data analysis, visualizations, predictions. So basically help you do that. Now there are a lot of different packages available with Python. A lot of different libraries you can import in and use, and professionals do so. And another thing with Python is that even though it's relatively new in the whole coding scene, it's there for a pretty long time if you're talking about data science, because Python has been used a lot and the community is burgeoning. It's very big. You find a lot of people use Python. Almost every data scientist knows how to work with Python, and that is again important to have such a big community, to share your ideas, to learn about other people's ideas, to talk about your problems that you may have and help allow other people to learn of your problems and learn how to solve them. It has so many packages that are available from the community. It is open source. Nothing is paid over here. So that's where it helps so much. Now you have again advanced libraries that are dedicated for purpose of data science, like you have TensorFlow, Keras, and you have PyTorch, which provide you with deep learning tools that a data scientist might need to work with. So that's why Python is such an amazing language when it comes to data science. It provides you with almost everything you need, and that's why it's ranked as the first language. Okay, conclusion. Now again guys, as I've told you guys about all the different languages that are used in the data science field, it is up to you to decide. But a heavy recommendation would come from my side, where I tell you guys to learn at least 3 things. You learn how to work with Python, definitely a must for every data scientist, and you start to work with SQL. That is the second thing. And the third thing is, if you're going to go into the big data scene, then I would recommend either Scala or Hadoop. Learn either one of them. So if you guys know these 3 things, then you should be good to go ahead and becoming an amazing data scientist. But there are caveats in this situation. If you're a person who's worked previously in previous directions, so if you worked with Matplotlib in college and you really liked it, so whenever you're creating any algorithms back in college, you use Matplotlib. So I would recommend you guys to learn Matplotlib if you've had prior experience with it. But again, then I would also suggest to learn SQL as a must, and even Python as a must. So if you want to take away anything from this video, it would be that Python, SQL, and a big data tool is a must as for a data scientist. So guys, that was the conclusion or our academy that we have. Alright guys, so we as an education learning institute provide a lot of courses. One of our highest selling courses is the Data Science Architect Masters course. In this particular course, we'll be teaching you guys about everything you need to know to become an amazing data scientist. And you'll be taught, so there are 2 things. You can either choose your self-paced course, or you can choose to opt into a instructor-led program where you'll be taught by industry professionals with years of experience. You can either choose that or go with the self-paced course. Now again guys, this is a paid course, so if you want to check out the quality of a course, if you're not if you are still on the fence and you want to decide to choose which course you want, then you can go ahead to Intellipaat/academy. So for this COVID situation, we've come up with this academy where we are giving out parts of our course for completely free, without any need for you to pay any compensation. It's completely free guys. So you can go to intellipaat.com/academy and go ahead and check out our data science course. The link will be provided to you in the chat, so you can check in the chat for it. And guys, check out for yourself if you like the course or not, and then go ahead and get the course. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll leave you guys with the YouTube coupon code. You can use this to get flat 30% off if you do decide to get our course. Thank you so much for watching. My name is Ram, and I'll see you guys in the next live.